Ladies and gentlemen, we have found the pinnacle of the luxury motor coach industry. Today it is an honor to share with you the new 2024 Liberty Coach and the gentleman responsible for this amazing creation, Frank and Kurt. How are you guys doing today?
Great, Andrew.
Real good, Andrew. Good to see you today.
Yeah, likewise, an absolute honor to see the latest and greatest here at Liberty Coach. A lot of big changes, the all new body style. What is going on?
Well, this has been a little over 2 years in the making, from when Prevost first talked about the coach to where we got the unit in to do all the changes that Kurt made, which he'll go over with you guys, to just being finally able to get the coach finished and here just in this past week. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, and a lot of new stuff we've never seen before. You want to show us around at some of the cool features?
Sure, Kurt can go through and show you how the whole new dash and the caps and everything else came out.
A lot of you have met Frank in previous videos, but Kurt, what is your responsibility with Liberty Coach?
I spend primarily all my time at the factory as a design engineer running our manufacturing facility. We'll get into it in further detail as all the design, concepts and time that was spent on this project. So I've been at that. We're a family business. Frank and I have both been involved with it since we've been at a very young age.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the 50th anniversary video. Both of you started in, was it high school?
Much before. Grade school.
So it's been a family business over 50 years. Both of your entire lives have been basically dedicated to Liberty Coach.
Right.
There's been a lot of time and learning to get to this point. This is the latest and greatest. What are we looking at here?
What we're looking at is a 2024 H345. This is the styling changes that Prevost has introduced on this chassis. We've done a lot of extra details to this coach. I like to point them out. Starting with the front of the coach, you're going to notice a new grille work design that was done here. This is to complement the aerodynamic styling of the front of the coach, as well as the angular design that you see here. We've also introduced a new Liberty Coach plate. This lights up as well at night, which has a really nice feature, as well as all of our stainless steel accents.
You were mentioning to me some of the benefits of the new redesigned front end. It stays cleaner, it's better fuel mileage.
So what's going on here as compared to the Classic H is Prevost has changed the styling. There's a large curve across the front of the coach. It's also a little narrower, whereas the coach curves out, angles out on the side. Their design intent was to increase fuel economy, reduce wind noise, and as well as keep the coach cleaner. So in certain conditions, whether you're in the snow or ice or what have you, the curvature of the coach will actually help clean the front off as you're driving down the highway.
And we did get a chance to get a sneak preview with Francois Tremblay, the president of Prevost, when the shell was introduced. This Liberty Coach has a lot more going on up front. What has Liberty Coach added to the front end here to kind of spruce up what Prevost's done?
What we've added is you'll see these body T-tails here. So this is what we call our front grille. And its shape was designed in such a way to stay very close to the coach to give clearance for the new door access here to service wiper motors, your return air filter for the driver system. So a lot of time was spent here to maintain the shape that Prevost provided for us.
Yeah, and then we saw this coach next to some of the recent coaches, and the front cap has a completely different look up top there. What's different about the front cap up top versus previous coaches?
So what's going on here at the top is Prevost has a significant slope to the front design of the coach. So what we wanted to do is maintain that design intent, and we continued to slope further up onto our awning caps that you see up on the top of the coach. We've added some body style design features. The ones on the side actually carry the shape of the awning tube, which goes down the side of the coach. So it's real important for us to keep that styling in hand to keep the design intent there that Prevost set out to do.
Now, what's the fuel mileage on this versus the previous model years?
Increase, let's put it that way. I can't give you exact numbers, but from what Prevost is telling us their intent with this whole project was to increase fuel economy. I don't have those exact numbers.
Yeah, and this being the very first one, it's going to take some years and a larger sample pool to get that.
Exactly. Once our customers get behind the wheel of this and get some miles, we'll be able to have more of that data.
Yeah, then I'm noticing these lights are a completely different look than we've seen before.
Yes, Andrew, this customer wanted some driving lights here, so this has a wide and narrow beam light. Use it when they go into campsites at night so they can really light up the area.
New design headlights, very sleek look.
So what we have here, Andrew, is the new LED light design Prevost introduced on this coach. Your bright and low beam are LED. In addition to that, you have the perimeter daytime driving light effect on there, as well as this is going to be your turn signal indicating light as well. You also have the side light here that comes on when you turn, as well as you're going to notice this light carries the curvature of the coach all the way around to the side.
Yes, sir. And coming to this area of the coach, I'm noticing something we've seen in the past that's missing here, a totally different design. What's changed here?
So Andrew, what you're going to notice on this particular coach is the deletion of the exterior mirror. Prevost has recently made available the E-mirror, which you see up here on the side of the coach. So you have a view down the entire side of the coach and also your blind spot area.
Definitely a really sleek, totally different look than we've seen before, and that's got to really help with the aerodynamics as well, I would bet.
Correct. It's helping with aerodynamics, reduce wind noise, visibility.
When we saw the first Prevost shell with Francois, he was talking about how this shape of this door has slightly changed, and with this Dean Laux paint job on here, gives it a really aerodynamic look. What's changed in this area of the coach?
So what you're going to notice when you walk up to this new body style is the curvature of the coach right here. In the classic model, the coach was completely straight down the side all the way to this point. So Prevost has done a great job of curving the front corner of the coach to increase the aerodynamics of it.
And it also gives it a great look. And then we're seeing the blind spot monitoring detection system. That was in the past. Has that changed at all?
No, that has not changed. That is our technology that we brought in a few years ago and then implemented here on the new chassis. Andrew, what you're going to notice here on the new style is the increased size of the driver's service door here. There's a large access now to the electronics that Prevost has installed. A lot easier for serviceability than what we had on our prior model.
Yeah, and everything is very clean. It just looks like it all belongs and fits very well. And this is neat to see. I've never seen this before. The paint tag, is this on every Liberty coach?
Yes, this has been on every coach that Dean Laux has painted. This is all your paint codes. I also like to point out the large driver's window, tow window that we now have. It's much taller and wider than we had on our previous model. You know, the other model was probably about this high here, so you know, having that extra height is really nice. Andrew, I'd like to point out another important feature, and that is access to the front door on the coach to service items that are behind there. Provided behind this door, you have access to the new synchronized wiper motors. These are much stronger than on the prior model. We also have more intermittent speeds. We have 4. We have a miss function. In the event of any servicing, we can do that now through the front. Also, a really nice feature is access to the return air filter for your driver's heat and air conditioning. This was really difficult to get at in the prior model, so now they've relocated up here. It's a really nice feature. You know, as far as, you know, a design intent, it was always a challenge to work around that grille on the sidewall in the Classic H. So now, you know, with it being removed up here, we have a lot more freedom, you know, as far as design goes on the interior of the coach.
I know Prevost's always pushing for serviceability. They use these buses in so many different platforms that serviceability is important. Are there a lot of other features like that we're going to see that help make it easier for the technicians as well?
They've moved some of the electronics from the side panel here. They've now installed them into the lower dash. So for techs, it's more easily accessible than what we had in our prior model. Andrew, another feature we'd like to point out is the size of the wiper blades that are on the front of the coach now. They're significantly bigger than we had on other models, which is really nice for viewing, as well as reduce wind noise.
So are these windshields larger than the previous windshields as well?
Yes, they're much taller than what we had in the prior model. There's more curvature to it due to the slope of the front of the coach, as well as the curve around the front corners. More view, there's styling changes. You can see the new clearance lights up at the top. They're clear color. That's a feature a lot of our customers like. They don't really like to see them, during the day. They light up orange at night for your clearance light in a process to improve fuel economy, reduced wind noise compared to the other model.
Much cleaner, more sleek look with those smaller lights as well. And when we were chatting earlier, you mentioned that the A-pillar up here has upgraded steel that's more robust than previous buses?
Yes, Prevost did structural changes to this chassis as well. Due to some rollover requirements in the seated coach, they stiffened up the beams here after the entry door. There's very large gusseting that's up at the roof line to the sidewall in the event, to keep the coach more structurally sound in the front.
Talking about safety, that's the top priority for Prevost. Any new safety features in this bus that we haven't seen in previous coaches?
The major increases is the e-mirror system. For visibility during dark conditions, rain and snow, the mirrors stay real clean. What you would have in some of the other coaches, you would get mirror shake, the glass vibrates, so you have none of that with this new system. It's a perfectly clear picture, which is really nice.
With that upgraded steel that you mentioned, does that affect the weight of the coach?
Prevost spent time reducing weight in other areas. They went into some non-structural areas, removed some stainless steel in order to compensate for the increased weight from that feature.
I'm noticing this sensor here in the windshield. What's going on here?
So this is a feature that Prevost introduced a couple years ago. What we're doing is that the radar down here and the sensor on top is essentially reading the highway. It's looking for lane departure. If you're veering off to either side, you'll get a warning. It's sensing any stopped traffic, so the coach will stop. It's also part of your adaptive cruise control.
That is standard from Prevost, and they've had that for a couple years now?
Yes, that's a feature that is available from Prevost. That is their technology, yes.
Okay, so what's some of the other new stuff on this 2024 that we haven't seen yet?
Well, in the front of the coach, when you look inside, and we'll get into that in further detail, you'll notice a new front overhead cabinetry system, some new lighting that we've introduced, new map lights. The blinds are much higher up into the coach. You'll notice we try to keep this as open as possible as compared to our prior model.
I am noticing that straight line of lighting like we've seen around the windows in the previous coach. Is that new for the windshield in 2024? Or?
That was a result of a design change as a result of the front of the coach. So the whole front overhead cabinetry system had to be changed due to how far back the slope comes into the interior of the coach. So we had to do a complete redesign. In that process, we wanted a cleaner line of light. So now that's your entry light that you have at night. We also implemented some linear map lights that are up underneath the cabinets as well that we can see when we get inside.
And as we come around the bus, just a completely different look than what we've seen on previous coaches. What's new in the front of the coach here?
So this is a major design change that Prevost implemented on this new chassis. The roof line of this coach, as compared to the Classic H, continues now all the way at one level, all the way to the front of the coach. So this allowed a very nice, clean, modern look. We were able to extend the length of our patio awning 3 feet longer. The traditional trapezoid window that Prevost is known for now has new design features to it that adds a really nice look, continued down through the door. So all of this really at the end really creates more of an aerodynamic coach, less wind noise, more streamlined than what we had in our prior model.
Yeah, it looks really good with that, Artist Series paint job with a slow fade in that awning, and then also the stripes come through the windows. Is that some of the newer styles of the Artist Series?
Yes, that's some of the newer styles that we're seeing. It makes the coach look much taller. We're able to carry that design work at the roof line all the way to the front of the coach. Dean has added some window wraps that you can see on that window there. Really adds some nice design detail to the outside of the coach. Another feature on the new chassis that you're going to notice is up at the roof line. Prevost has changed the rain gutter design where the side panel transitions to the roof of the coach. It's a much smoother design than what they had in prior years. Panel fit and finish is much better than what we had on our Classic H.
Now the rear end of this coach, again, a totally different look. What's new back here?
So Prevost redesigned the rear cap of the coach, and a significant new feature here, drag reducing lip that you see going up the back corner of the coach. So a challenge for us was how to continue that onto our new cap design. So what you're going to see is that we carried that drag reducing feature up the side, over the top, and back down again to maintain the design intent that Prevost set out to do. You're also going to notice when you look at the side of them, we continued the shape of the awning tube onto the side of our cap just for Liberty Coach.
It's really hard to tell where the Prevost cap stops and the Liberty Coach enhancement carries it on. Where does Liberty Coach extend the Prevost shell? Is that above the lights there, or where exactly?
Right, so if you look closely above the clearance lights, you'll notice an angular transition. That's where Prevost's drag feature ended, and then our design had to connect at that point going up and then adding the drag feature to the top. A lot of time was spent on developing a style to maintain the curvature that you see in order to see the end result here. It came out really, really nice.
Some of the other converters out there do some cool rear caps. What's different about the way Liberty Coach does the rear cap versus some of the other converters?
All the H345 Prevosts have the engine exhaust going through the roof. As with other competitors, you have a short exhaust extension. Well, we've taken that a step further, is that we have an enclosed chimney chamber up there to house our extension with a nice stainless steel cap on there. This helps the aerodynamics. You know, if you were to go up on top of the coach and look at the back side of this cap, it has a nice slope, so the air going across the top of the coach doesn't get held up and then continues on across the top.
Because there's a lot of stuff that we don't see that Liberty Coach is going above and beyond to make it a higher quality product, even though we're not seeing
Exactly. There's a lot behind the scenes that are going on just with that particular component that, you know, people don't realize or ever see. On the rear of this coach, the customer wanted to tint his tail lights. It gave it a very clean look across the back of the coach. We have our own designed stainless steel treatment that you're seeing here. This particular small lift gate was changed a little bit by Prevost. You'll also notice we have our new Liberty plate on here as well, but it's a really nice clean look.
And I didn't even realize those were the tail lights until you mentioned it. Now that's for this specific coach. Will the other ones be red?
Right, they will be red that you would have seen on the other H. This tailgate in this area did not change, but this particular customer wanted to add some special styling to this, so that's why you see the changes here.
Now, I know there was a lot of effort that went into the new design of the dash. What's new inside here?
Andrew, what you're going to notice in this coach is a complete new dash assembly special to the 2024 H345. Due to the changes of the front of the coach, a complete new design needed to be implemented. We can start here with the door panel. We wanted a nice clean looking automotive style door panel. The leather color being carried from the lower passenger dash through the door boot onto the panel. We added special body features in here to give it more detail. The stitching you'll notice through here, the addition of the piano black accent panel here, integrated handle carrying on through here. We've also added some indirect lighting here in the door panel as well as up the stairwell. We have a larger window here than on the prior model, which is really nice for the driver viewing as well as the passenger. So we brought that outside curved styling into the interior design as well.
Do you think we could take a step inside and take a closer look at the dash?
Sure. One thing you're going to notice when you in the entry of the coach is that Prevost has introduced a curved stair entry. So you're going to notice your stairs here add a curve on your way up. That styling of the curve was carried on the lower dash panel as well as the upper dash.
This new cockpit is completely different than what we've seen before.
Kim and I both wanted a streamlined cockpit design, from the sleek black materials that carry across the entire dash to the combination of leather and new stitched seams. We created a sportier version of our prior dash. This new dash can be customizable to our client's liking, with the ability to change the materials to coordinate with their interior selections. Kim is responsible for all the interior material and fabric selections, and we worked very closely on this project, which we think turned out very special for our first 2024 H345.
Noticing these big mirrors right away, lots of visibility around the coach, but what all is new here?
And new for the 2024 H345 is a complete new dash design. Prevost has a nice design, however there wasn't enough room for the larger iPad Pro display that we've had in our prior coaches. So right away we knew we had to go with a complete redesign of the dash. Another new feature a lot of customers have been asking about is CarPlay. So you're going to notice a large 10-inch display here for CarPlay or Android Auto. Another reason for the change is that you're going to notice our inset dash panels. New for 24, we have 3 new colors. We have a piano black, we have a new carbon fiber, and also a wood grain. These panels can be either glossy, as you see here, or a matte finish. There's new switching that Prevost has provided for us. Really excited about the new center dash cluster here. This is a color display. The unit before was a monotone. They've also implemented the tire pressure monitoring system into the center cluster, so now that has removed a small display that was on a prior model. We carried this design on over to the side of the driver here. You're going to notice a clamping charging base over here for your cell phone. No need for cables to plug into. It's going to be clamped in place, so as you're driving it's not going to slide off and end up on the floor. We've also integrated a nice upholstered panel trimmed in silver to match the rest of the trimmed out dash panels that you see here. Prevost improved the HVAC system on the front of the coach. They've located the grills here, your vent grills, up higher, pointing right at the driver's face. It really gives you a significant increase in your airflow compared to other models. And we wanted to maintain the design intent of Prevost, keeping a low slope profile here for better visibility out the front windshield. You're going to notice when you drive this coach it feels very nice and low and you have great visibility. Here you're going to see is an automotive style steering wheel. This has a really nice range of motion for the driver to get in infinite positions here. Makes it real comfortable to drive. The center horn button was upholstered and stitched to match the rest of the dash styling as well. There's new controls for your wipers, your turn signal, which is really user friendly. The control buttons have a nice feel to them.
When we interviewed the folks from Prevost when this first was released a few months ago, they were saying taller or shorter drivers, it's much more ergonomic for all different sizes of drivers. There's a lot of different seat positions that you can adjust to.
In this particular coach, where our seat is mounted, it's a little further back, so we have more range of motion. You can run this seat further back than on our classic model, and gives you easier egress out between the dash and your driver's cabinet here. There's a lot of rotation movement in our new steering wheel. The in and out positions are greatly increased. This is going to accommodate any driver out there.
Yeah, I believe the gentleman from Prevost was 6'9" and was showing us it can accommodate a driver as tall as 6'9".
Exactly. Another feature up here that we didn't have on our prior model is, the addition of a storage drawer here for the driver, which is real nice for them, throw, the keys in, or, sunglasses and what have you. Some new technology we used on this dashboard was 3D printing technology. The dash ring around the center cluster here is 3D printed. Also, the mounts for our blind spot indicator lamps are in a nice 3D printed mounting.
A much more sleek look than in previous models. That Liberty Coach emblem on the steering wheel is very bold. It seems to be a little bit bigger. Gives it a really stylish look.
We utilized the mounting surface that was given to us from Prevost, then we implemented our own logo onto that. So yeah, it's a real nice special feature that's been put there.
And I'm also noticing that we can see not only behind us, but also in front of us on these mirrors, and it is crystal clear. I can see my Sprinter van out in the front parking lot through the big glass windows, clear as day.
So what you're seeing here, Andrew, is the slide out room is out. So that camera is picking up the reflection on the glass that's going out the front of our entry door, but you can see how clear it is.
So these are rear view mirrors,
right?
Okay.
They're rear view mirrors. But here's the front tire in this area here, so you're able to see right up to the front side of that to reduce your blind spot.
Yeah, but that's not a forward fit. That's only rear view mirror. Okay.
No, the only forward. We do have the availability of forward through the Brigade system, like we had on our prior coaches. So we have 360 view, like we had. Andrew, what we have here is a large 10-inch Garmin RV GPS road map system in here, which is a real nice, that can be linked to your phone for real-time traffic as well. We talked about a little bit on the outside of the coach. We have a new entry lights here up at the top. We also implemented some red map lights here, both on the driver and passenger side. So again, it's a clean look here. It gives a lot of light at night, for the driver and passenger to move around or look at road maps.
I'm seeing a Liberty logo light feature. I have not seen that in previous this coach is, what is that little button for?
When we were out on the front of the coach, we pointed out the new Liberty logo. Well, that is backlit now. You can have that on going, down the road or when you're parked in your campsite at night to light it up, and it looks really nice. You are also going to notice some nice stitch work that we've done here. The design intent here was to make it more of a sportier look. You're going to see the black material being carried on over into the driver's dash panel around to the driver's side dash. We did a little bit more of a modern style on our stitching in this area as well as on the dash cab. The black material that you see here is being carried up the center windshield post, so it's a really nice clean look.
Yes, sir, and this is all done in-house at Liberty Coach.
This dash assembly system that you're seeing here, so this is the main dash, the passenger dash, entry door. There's a total of 19 molds, individual parts that had to be designed in order to complete this assembly. On the passenger side dash, Andrew, you're going to notice some new venting, a sporty style vent there for the passenger. Passenger has a lot of nice ventilation on their side of the coach as well. Driver and passenger both have the map light feature, much brighter than what we had on the smaller swivel unit on our prior models. So this is the Nodler seat that we have used before. You have the same features on the Villa seat as well. So you have air massage, air ride on the driver's side. One of the design features in this coach, as you're going to notice, is the punch hole method that's done on the driver and passenger seat. This is a newer method that was implemented. You're going to see a much cleaner design of the diamond pattern as well as the complete fill-in with the holes. It's done very nice, and customers are really going to enjoy that feature.
A much higher end stitching than I've seen in some of the other motorhomes. Some of the other motorhomes have the diamond stitching, but not this level of detail work.
Exactly. You see the double sew marks are sewing here. What's really tricky here is the air holes that are punched in here, all at the same distance away from the stitch line, so that it looks really professional.
Very similar to the Designo package on the Mercedes-Benz, which I think is like a $10,000 interior upgrade option just on a car, so I can imagine.
Exactly. There's been a redesign of the passenger cockpit area. Due to the new shape of the Prevost trapezoid window, this cabinet was adjusted in height to give more viewing out the window for the co-pilot. We also changed positions here of some of our switching, made it easier for the co-pilot to access these when they're in this position. We've added USB A and C charging port here, which is a real nice feature to plug your phone in or iPad. Another new feature on the 2024 H345 is our new ceiling and soffit system here. As we mentioned on the outside of the coach, Prevost continued the roof line all the way to the front of the coach. That has allowed us to change our designs up here in the front of the coach. The TV lift was changed in its rotation angle to get it up higher, further forward in the coach. You're going to notice our soffit system now continues at one line all the way around the front of the coach. This gives it a very clean, smooth appearance. Our front overhead cabinetry was also changed due to the significant slope of the front of the coach that brought that in significantly. So we had a redesign here. We wanted a nice clean look that we could run our soffit around on. You're going to see the implementation of your left and right channel speakers for your surround sound system. Your center channel is right there. The blinds were significantly different in this model due to the curvature of the coach. You're going to notice some stiffeners there in the middle. Keeps the fabric nice and straight on its way down due to the significant slope you have. This particular customer wanted an interior back view camera, so as he's driving, he can turn on that small little camera and you can see if someone's standing back in the coach. In the event of a panic stop or whatever, you can notify them. You're going to notice newly styled side cabinets here on the front overhead. This is nice storage for sunglasses, smaller items on your way outside the door. We also added some indirect lighting up around the back side. Again, it's a nice feature to carry, the lighting effect and showcase the nice slope to the front of the coach. In our prior model, we had just the round style puck lights underneath our upper cabinets at about this location. So we've significantly increased the amount of light output by running one long strand of linear lighting here. Really noticeable here in the front of the coach.
Looks great.
Another feature on the front of the new 2024, we had this on our prior coach. We did include the glove box here, as you can see. A lot of nice storage for keys and whatnot on your way out the door. Prevost changed the functionality of the leveling system that's provided for us as converters. So in prior years, the front axle was only able to go up and down. Now we can go up and down, left and right. So a new leveling system was implemented into the coach. Here's a control panel right here. And what's nice about this is they eliminated 4 switches that we typically had on our classic coach. So again, that helped clean up the clutter that you had on the driver's side dash.
What other engineering feats did you have to accomplish?
There's been a slight change to the curvature here up towards the top of the coach as far as the elevation of the slide room slightly. Although it doesn't seem like a lot, on the engineering part as far as parts being machined on our CNC equipment, all that data had to be changed, updated, and what have you to accommodate these slight changes that take place on a new chassis.
We have a lot more of the coach to show you. Now, Kurt, you need to get back to the factory in Chicago, and usually Frank is showing the coaches, but I want to just share with the viewers a little bit about what you do with Liberty Coach. What is your position and what's your responsibility here?
A lot of my time obviously is spent at the manufacturing facility designing the interiors from a hand sketch through the CAD model to the assembly process, as well as my responsibilities at the manufacturing facility. I'm going to be heading back working on another 2024 model that's going to have a little bit of styling changes on the dash leather. You guys will see that here in a little bit. It's real exciting times now to build a project like this. It's been almost 2 years in the making, from sketch geometry to CAD work to having the tooling and parts made, the installation of it, working with the guys in the shop to build a product like this. And we have to acknowledge all of them as well in North Chicago and here is Florida. The amount of time and effort that they put in to maintain the quality of what we do is obviously very important to us.
Liberty Coach is a family business. Your parents started it. Now you both have children that are involved in the company. How many children are involved in the company, and what's the next generation at Liberty Coach looking like?
2 of my sons are involved with the company now. My daughter's still in college. She does social media posts for us on TikTok and Instagram. My eldest son deals in our purchasing department and helps me on costing, gathering that data. My other son is heavily involved on the manufacturing side. He's a business major, but he's a cabinet builder. We're excited for him as he's growing with the process and turning him on to more responsibilities as time go on.
Frank, your son Alex, we've had on the channel before.
Yep.
What's Alex's current position here?
He's doing a lot inside of the electrical department. He's helping out in organizing that department as well. He and I are communicating almost like on a daily basis because we're in the process of changing some of the electrical wire run sheets that I go through and edit, especially with this new dash arrangement and some of the other new things that we're doing, new layout. So he's heavily involved in that, plus the programming on Crestron, the Volta system as well, and customer support.
Really awesome to see what your family has done. Definitely the leader of the luxury motor coach industry. It's really awesome to see. Now, I know you've got an Uber that's going to be here any moment, so really appreciate you staying to show us this coach. Now, Frank, you think you could show us more around this coach here?
I can do it. That's not a problem.
Sounds
it's great
good
to have Kurt here. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks
Beautiful.
again, Kurt.
All right,
Appreciate you, sir.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Andrew.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Really cool to have your brother here showing us some stuff, but I think we forgot one of the new features on the Liberty, one of my favorite new features on the wheels here.
The company that we get covers from, Real Wheels, they came to us with a new design for the gravity sensitive hub for the logos, like the Rolls-Royce, which we are of the conversion business. The Liberty logo stays straight going down the road.
Something we've never seen on another motor coach. Yeah, Liberty Coach is definitely leading the way, no doubt about that. But what else is going on with this particular coach?
This is a 2024. This is a triple slide with the 2 super slides in the back, the bedroom or super suite arrangement. Some of the other things that they did, which enhance the look of the coach, especially when you have somebody like Dean do the paint and it gets to be so well finished as far as how clear and how shiny. You can see down the side of the coach, there's virtually no imperfection whatsoever because the panels have changed to be flatter, to be more stable, if you will, which enhances the aluminum fenders that we got a couple of years ago, both front and rear. So those have stayed a lot more stable and give you a better finish all the way down the side of the coach. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and this is an Artist series as well. This is Liberty Coach 901.
Coach 901, the first 2024 model.
And I've had the opportunity to meet the owners of this coach. Awesome folks, and they've owned several Liberty coaches. Do you know how many Liberty coaches they've owned?
I think this is going to be their 3rd. They stumbled across us actually at the Tampa Super Show a few years back. They had a Class A and randomly they had the only Dean Laux painted Class A that was ever done at that time. And so they ended up meeting Dean, and then we had a coach that was our demo. One thing led to another, and then they ended up buying the coach. As you know, they're in the transport business, so they have a fleet of coaches as well.
A lot of Prevost, yes sir. And they were ecstatic about all of the new features on this. And their previous coach, is that still available? Did that just come in on trade right now? Or?
It's sitting right outside.
That's going to be a great, one of the best spec Liberty. I think it's a 2020, one of the earlier Artist series, one of the best spec Liberty coaches of the previous body style.
Beautiful.
That'll be a great opportunity for someone, but let's take a closer look at this coach.
So first bay here, very similar to what we've done in the past. We've got a full open bay. We have the slide out trays on either side as well, the tool drawer that we have, and then the storage drawers above. So that primarily all stayed the same. The structure part of the coach in the bays, as far as that from the Classic to the 9660 chassis, all stayed the same. We don't really have any modification on that part of it. In the second bay here on the passenger side, again, full pass-through bay here, the 65-inch TV, slide out mechanism that we make, that we manufacture in-house. We've seen that a few different times. It works out really well.
Not only is it a higher end TV, but it's even the wiring and everything that goes into that TV gives it a much more crisp and clear, very high-end picture.
Right. We have all of our cables are custom-made HDMI fiber optic cables. So there's a single uninterrupted run from the switcher to the AVR or the sound processor, and then from there directly to the TV. So that gives you a very clean, crisp picture as well as very clean sound also. This was modified because in the entertainment center cabinet here, we changed a couple of things in that. So the grill unit is stored here. So this cabinet here is a little taller than what we normally see. So the refrigerator unit was different. This actually is a slide out refrigerator drawer unit. And then we have the ice maker here.
And is this a newer appliance that we haven't seen before?
Yeah, these units, actually, they make the units that we have that we do the carbon fiber front that are a swing door. They wanted to have this as a drawer unit as opposed to the swing door unit. And then we have storage above. And again, utilizing all the storage, we have storage here as well, a little drawer. You can use that for utensils or what have you. Next to it, a little bottle storage maybe.
And as you're opening up these bays too, I'm noticing so much intricate detail work just in the paint scheme on the door handle.
Handles, yeah.
So this is an Artist series and it did not even stop on the door handles? Is that something new?
It's an option that you can do. Dean will price that out with you and you need to hold your breath, but it's all good.
Yes, sir.
It's like anything else.
Well, it's a lot of work.
There's a significant amount of work there. There's no question. To smooth those handles out and then be able to apply the paint so it stays on the plastic, if you will, or the material that's below it. So there's a significant amount that goes on with that.
And then to just do an Artist series with the art of removal on the baggage door handle, Dean just goes to the next level.
Sure does. Storage drawers in here. Behind this is the DEF tank. So we've got the DEF tank here. You have the fuel fill, so Prevost has the ability to fuel the coach on both sides. DEF is fueled only on the driver's side, but you've got the fuel fill on both sides, 220 gallons of fuel.
Okay, so the same as the previous coaches.
They've modified a little bit. They used to be at 222, and I think they went down to 218, something like that.
Okay.
Water compartment bay here. We've got the 40-gallon water heater in the back that's stainless steel. You've got the water pump, reverse osmosis Culligan system, the stainless steel fresh water tank, the aluminum holding tank. We still and have for many years have the ability to dump the holding tank from both sides of the coach, so you're not just stuck to one side. You can do it from either side. Fresh water tank dump as well. That you can fill the fresh water or hook up to city water from this side as well as on the other side. Instant hot water or tankless water heater system here for the shower. So if something goes bad with the water heater, you still would have hot water to the shower valve.
And I'm seeing this placard here just giving, the owner of the coach instructions at how to operate everything.
Right.
And that's something Liberty's been doing for a long time. Sometimes when I see the pre-owned Liberty coaches that are, 10, 20 years old, it's amazing at how well not only these placards, but just all of the fit and finish holds up.
Sure, and the placards are there because not everybody uses the coach every day. So you get away from the coach for a few weeks or a few months, come back, we have the placards there. We also have the owner's manual, which we don't point out that much, but Liberty Coach has come with a written owner's manual since 1995. I wrote the first one, and we've obviously updated them through the years, but we have a printed owner's manual, and that can be done in a PDF format as well that you can keep on your phone or whatever. And then also we've done the videos, so we have the owner's portal as well for refreshers for people as far as things that come up or questions that they may have. So there's a number of those on there as well.
What is it about the fit and finish that makes these coaches last so long? Like a 20-year-old Liberty versus a 20-year-old, even other Prevost converters, why do they hold up so much better than the other coaches?
It has to do with the material that you start out with, the materials that you're using to apply everything, the way that the panels are secured. I mean, this is all stainless steel. I mean, this doesn't come from Prevost. We build this. These are all screwed, nut and bolted together, so the system is going to sit there and it's going to look the same 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now. But it also makes it easy to service. 8 screws, this panel's out, and you're inside this whole system here getting to whatever you need. So the serviceability aspect also is a key to how this all looks at the end of the day. Because typically, you're going to look at a coach that's 10 or 15 or 20 years old, this is going to have come apart. And if it's not made to come apart easy, when it goes back together, it's going to start to deteriorate. A lot of your service issues or your deterioration that you see comes from. These are American Racing wheels as well.
Yes, sir.
These are also touched up by Dean, so you can see the Liberty Coach logo in them also.
2 Liberty Coach logos. Now, is this, do you know if that's painted on or?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's cheap to have Dean do that either.
No. We have the stainless steel storage box that we build. So we have storage area here for belts, for hoses, for whatever you may want to keep as far as spares. You have the ability for the shore power side hookup for the starboard side here, using a regular cord, shore cord to the power pole. We also have a 30 amp 220 outlet here, which is generator power or shore power to hook up to a trailer, which you would do only when you're parked. You wouldn't have that hooked up going down the road. Again, serviceability is a big thing for Prevost as well. Everything here is easy to get to and easy to be able to identify.
And I see here Artist Series number 23, just incredible, the partnership with Dean Laux and Liberty Coach that pushed the entire motor coach industry to the next level. Everybody else has been scrambling to try to catch up, but nobody is doing what Dean Laux and Liberty Coach has done. How long has that relationship been going on for?
That relationship now is getting into its 12th year. I've been asked this question here just recently. You know, the transition dates back to me being fed up with seeing everything coming down the road looking the same swirls on the outside of the coach, the same colors, the same design. I don't care if it was a Class A, a Prevost, a Newell, whatever it was, they were all looking the same coming down the road. So then we had a relationship with Dean that I had from years previous on other projects. So we approached him about doing this, and this is what we've come out with. It's very apparent. When you go into the RV resorts today, you can pick out the Liberties immediately.
Immediately, yeah. And I've seen the designs too. It's neat to see Dean's designs evolve as well with the newer coaches. And then now we're starting to see a lot of new stuff, new angles, just totally different designs that we haven't seen. And I've talked to Dean, and he's still got a lot of tricks up his sleeve that he hasn't shown anybody yet. Sure. Some of these new coaches coming through. He called me the other day and said some of the new coaches, there's 3 or 4 Artist Series coming through right now that are going to be some really incredible stuff. So exciting to see that.
Yep. As far as the reduced drag on the coach for fuel efficiency, the way that was all done, and without even having a coach, done through 3D modeling, so not even having the coach to be able to do it, and when you finally get it and set it on top and it fit, you know, that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, it just looks like it was built to fit together, and I was talking to him about where Liberty Coach extended it from the Prevost shell, and it just totally flush and looks like that's how it was built to be. And then the blacked out lights too, just really great look on that.
Slide rooms, we've talked about those a few times, how nice getting underneath, how smooth they are, how finished they are. Dean's paint work on the side of the slides as well, it's seamless.
Even the bottom of the slide rooms are such a high gloss finish that the paint scheme, depending the angle you look at, is going to reflect off of the bottom of the slide room. Just another level. When you start climbing below different motorhomes, they're not going to have that same level of finish.
Signature look of the Liberty Coach, driver's side holding tank area, water bay area, the stainless steel fresh water tank, the aluminum holding tank, our gray water bypass, sewer dump here as well, 100-foot electric hose reel here, manually pull it out. It's electric driven on the return. Sewer hose storage is done here. You also have a sprayer here to be able to pull out the spray to clean the hoses off prior to storing them. Fourth bay, this opted to be a closet area by the customer, so there's closet rod in here, so more storage for off-season, if you will, clothing.
Yeah, and this fuel door locks on both sides as well.
Right, so fuel, and then you have DEF. This would be the generator compartment. That hasn't changed at all. Got the 12.5 kW Onan unit here. On the other side of this then is the lithium-ion Volta battery banks. There's two of those. They're 58 volt each. So we have 36,000 kilowatt hours of power here, plus we have two 10 kW alternators that are on the engine to charge those battery banks back. And then also included in this system is three 5,000 watt inverter units, and they're also chargers to charge those battery banks back. The way that our system is set up, one of those inverters stays live 100% of the time for all your sensitive electronics, like your satellite receivers, your Apple TVs, all that type of stuff stays live 100% of the time. So there's no power transition from generator to short inverter on those. And then also these inverters have the ability to stack for 220 volt equipment, so you can run the microwave oven, the Wolf oven, or the cooktop washer dryer you could as well without the generator at all.
By far the most advanced electrical system in the motor coach industry. What do you think the chances of that generator ever being turned on are?
Very slim.
I'm a believer of the lithium system.
Here in this compartment is going to be our main brains, if you will, of all the electrical. The DC distribution panel is here. This is the brains of the Volta lithium-ion system. That's what's called their BMS. Stainless steel box here is going to be our transition contactors from generator to shore to inverter power, which we manufacture. We also have something a lot of converters don't do. It is a buddy plug, so you can power somebody up off the generator. If something went awry on their coach, you could use the generator on board here to help them out.
If you wanted to store this coach and you didn't have access to power, you could turn this electrical system off and store this coach for several months without it being plugged in?
One button. If the system is at 100% of charge, you could turn it off and you could come back, say 4 months later. It's not going to be at 100%, but it's going to be very close. And then everything is a clean reboot. All of the systems then come back fresh, as opposed to them coming up from a low voltage situation and then turning on sporadically. Everything comes on clean. The storage that we sometimes see in the fourth bay on the driver's side with the tubs and the storage containers are done in here for this particular client. They have a lot of versatility as far as that goes.
And then of course the classic Zip-D lawn chairs. Yes sir. Those hold up 20, 30 years as well. I've sat in them.
No question. You guys touched on with Kurt. This really has been an advancement for Prevost so that we have a lot easier access to their systems. So do they, as far as that goes, to be able to get into the service systems that are here. Plus this door and this arrangement keeps this area a lot better maintained as far as for weather, dirt, what have you. So it's a very nice system comparatively.
With that curve and that Dean Laux paint job coming through, just a really sleek looking front end here.
There's no question about that. And then not having the mirrors, the whole look of the coach, very well put together.
Kurt showed us a little bit of the new dash, but do you think we could take a closer look inside the coach?
Yeah, you better.
Yes sir, yes sir. So the new dash is something to get excited about. The ergonomics for the driver, just next level. On the coach side here, what's new here?
I know Kurt probably went over the front overhead area. So what that has done with the ability to have the ceiling at essentially the same level, it makes this room that much more spacious than what we had previously. It is really cool. The additional storage in the front overhead cabinets that are there as well, that's going to be a big plus also. This rest of the coach in here, the galley setup living room is done with the extended galley and the single chair. That's becoming more and more popular to do as opposed to the two chairs, because typically the forward chair is just a catch-all. You know, nobody really ever sits in that, and they end up swapping chairs around so they look like they've been used the same. And ended up being a lot better, more usable space. Laptop area here, printer goes down in here. You've got other storage throughout. Galley's longer than what we traditionally had in the bath and a half models. This one has some really cool tile work done here on the backsplash. Has the waterfall countertop. here in the galley. Push the coffee maker back here, so it's now gotten a little bit smaller as well. So again, more surface area, more usable area. A lot of storage, a lot of drawer storage. We always do a nice liner on the base. This keeps things quiet as well, because once again, even though we have all this, we still need to have no squeaks and rattles.
The only person in any industry that can say that, to my knowledge, and is that still
there?
So lifetime workmanship warranty to the original owner. What else does that lifetime workmanship warranty include?
So it includes the workmanship or the installation of equipment. If we installed something, let's just say it's an air conditioner or something else that we installed, and it was found that our installation process was wrong and that's what caused a failure, we would go ahead and replace that under warranty, as long as the customer owns the coach. Fresh water tank, we make that. If it leaks, and we've had that happen, that gets fixed for free, or it gets replaced, one of the two. It just depends on the severity of it. There's a lot that we cover in that. There's a hell of a lot of goodwill that goes with it, there's no question.
Yeah, and I think that's why we see so many Liberty Coach owners continue to get Liberty Coaches. Like the owners of this coach are on, have had several Liberty Coaches. The only person in the industry I can get to say that. So a lot of respect for you for that.
Thank you.
So.
This was a change that we had done a few coaches back that Kurt designed, was to be able to get storage around the plumbing of the kitchen sink, so we have more available here. A trash drawer here with storage behind it for additional bags. Lots of storage up in the overheads. All of our cabinets that you open up are lighted. It makes things a lot easier.
And the paper towel holder there, that's just such a great utilization of space. Right. Yes, sir.
Comes in through the bottom of the cabinet. Again, keeps things clean and uncluttered, especially if you're going down the road. You don't want the stuff potentially flying around. More storage up in here. Controls. This is for the Maritz, which is the backbone of our electrical system. This is done on a CAN network, and all of the circuit breakers that run your lighting and most of the mechanical electrical equipment in the coach is done on a electronically programmed circuit breaker. So those breakers are run from 1 amp to 30 amp depending on how they're programmed for their load. And then we then communicate to that system, either wired or wireless, to Crestron. So we have a full backup. We've talked about that in the past. We do a lot of redundancy in the coach. So if you have a Wi-Fi hiccup in the coach and the iPad doesn't work, you still have the ability to go to a press button to be able to turn something off. If that system goes down, then you still have the ability with Maritz to be able to go and turn lighting on and off and other mechanical features.
Now, is there additional sleeping here in the front of the coach?
So on this particular coach, the client wanted to have, similar to their last coach, which this is a convertible sofa. So this comes out and we have the air mattress. Because of the layout, how the front of the coach is done, and being a triple slide, with the slide here in the front the way it is, we have the ability for the room for it to come out. So this essentially gives you a nice big bed up in the front of the coach.
I know most Liberty Coach owners are typically couples that use these coaches, but with more and more families starting to RV at younger ages, we've had a lot of folks asking about bunk coaches, and I know the famous NASCAR driver Kyle Busch has a Liberty Coach with a bunk in it. Is Liberty Coach able to build coaches with bunks in this new body style?
The layout of the bunk leans itself more toward a double slide coach than it does a triple or a quad, because of where the actual bunks would be located. There is sacrifice with that. You're going to be sacrificing storage. Some of the bunks are convertible into closets as well. We've done some of that in the past, and so it is an option that can be looked at.
Okay, so if someone wants to do custom order a new Liberty, that is something that can be done.
Absolutely.
And now, are all Liberty coaches custom built, or do you ever do spec coaches at all?
We have not done a spec coach in probably the last 3 years. I do have one that we have blocked out for Liberty Coach for next summer, getting into the late 2024 summer area, so that we have a unit to use for those summer events, along with the Prevost 100th anniversary event in September of 24. So we're going to have that for ourselves.
Awesome. And if someone wants to purchase that coach, is that something that they can, put their name on the list and buy that, ahead of time, or?
It would be a lottery, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes, if somebody wanted to, yes, we can discuss that. There's no question. We need to make sure we have something available to do these other special events for next year.
And what's current availability too?
Now we're talking about December of 24 availability, getting real close into 25.
Well, going through this, Coach, what all else is going on here?
We've got the bar top arrangement. We're starting to see more people go away from the TV cabinet that we used to do in here to open the space up more window area. Again, that leans itself toward this layout with the single chair and the cabinet up here for people that, you know, work with laptops, business, you know, what have you, which a lot of people, you know, still do. A lot of our customer base is. We just got this coach in a few days ago, actually, so for us to be able to have some time to feel through some of the things that, you know, are incorporated in this new front end, it's taken a little bit of time, but it is, we're really excited about it. Going back through the back of the coach, pantry area here, nice rollout. Boxes for storage.
It's very well lit, but I'm noticing this metal piece here that's painted to match the door, and it looks like it's screwed in. What's the purpose for that?
So when you build coaches as long as we have, and you've used them as many years as we have on and off, and you see them come back in and come back in, this device here we designed and put into the coaches back in the late 80s. We would see the doors start to creak depending on how they were laminated, how they were finished. The door may pull one way or another, especially if it has a mirror on it. Over time, it's going to want to do that. That ceases that from happening.
Yeah, and I think what we were talking about earlier, how well the Liberty coaches hold up compared to other coaches out there. It's all those little details like that. And I'm sure some of the very first Liberty coaches didn't have all those little features.
No, but you know, when you look at this, this is a piece of bent aluminum. We bend this in-house. You have to finish it. We just didn't get the rock Krylon spray cannon. You know. No, this was finished.
Oh, it's professionally done.
In the booth. There's a lot that goes into the finish of a coach. The refrigerator, the Fisher Paykel unit, which is, you know, a full built-in. You don't even really know it's a refrigerator. They have ice in the freezer drawer below. You have water dispenser here. The mid toilet room, which has the Jack and Jill, if you will, so you've got the aft door as well. People ask, you know, why do we do that? It's been such a popular layout and arrangement. My wife and I, Denise, when we use the coach a lot, we'll just keep the center door closed and we'll just transition from the front to the rear of the coach to the bathroom, because we're, you know, like to keep this area private, if you will, even though we're showing the coach. So although every coach that we live in has to be show ready, you know, by 7 a.m.
Yeah, and this is something that I have not seen before. When you open this door, there was two different patterns. A pattern on this side, really cool inlay, and then a totally different design than we've seen before. Is this a new style of door, or what's going on here?
New style door shows off our ability to make change, to continue to evolve. There's options when you are able to create things in your own house. And so this, again, is something that we do. There's a whole lot of this coach that we build in-house, which is a lot different than some of the other manufacturers that are out there. And again, this is all solid, no rattles. This being the center bath, or what we call the ETR, there's quite a bit of room in here. I mean, you have the ability to move around. You've got a lot of mirror. There's a lot of ways to, there's a lot of storage as well, all lighted. There's storage back here above the toilet. There's storage below. So there's a significant amount of room that's in here that's very well.
And then the two-tone doors on both doors, and just such a sleek look with that inlay. Is that like automotive paint, or what is that inlay?
No, that's part of the laminate face that we saw in the kitchen area.
Beautiful material, but I bet that's extremely robust as well.
There's no question. Solid door. Coming into the bedroom area, we've got the washer dryer is going to be the first thing that as you enter the bedroom. The other part when we come in here that we really didn't touch upon is like in the flooring, how our flooring systems are done. The flooring on here is essentially perfect. You're not going to see an imperfection in it. That's because of the way that the floor substrate is done. So this is completely heated as well. So that heated element, if you will, is sandwiched, and then that is completely finished over the top. So there's no screw heads that are going to pop, anything that could come apart, or if it's a staple or whatever that's going to transition through this flooring, and then the flooring is laid down. You can go into our coaches, you've seen them that are 10 and 15 years old that have this flooring system in it, and there is no ripple. There is no issue whatsoever. So we're really happy with this. It's a lightweight material. It also helps us be able to keep in weight reduction what we need to do. And the super suite arrangement is going to be the passenger side slide room here. You've got storage, which is also a closet if you wanted to remove these shelves. Hamper unit here. It also has a step in there so that it transitions over the hump that we have in here, which has to do with the mechanism underneath for the bearings and the slide rails. Storage up here, both sides, and then lots of drawer storage as well. And then we have another large closet with a mirror on it here as well.
When we open this door, you've got the full-length mirrors on both so that you can see behind you your outfit from both angles.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then we're seeing that metal piece again, but now it's a different color than the one above to match this wood grain look. Or what material is this on the inside of the door?
This is a veneer wood as well, so it's exotic. There's no question about that part. So yes, this has been changed as far as color-wise to be able to match it.
Yeah, so many cool little colors that all flow together so well, but that accent wall, as soon as I laid eyes on it.
It's really cool with the depth, no question about that. That's pretty cool.
Yes,
you have closets that on either side of the driver's side slide, huge, big, deep drawers that are in both sides also.
Yeah, now this cabinet door does not have that metal reinforcement.
Size.
It doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
But we still see overkill with these robust hinges as well, so still very overbuilt.
Crestron panel here. We've got an iPad for operation there, so both of these can operate the entire coach. iPad obviously is removable. We have flat charging stations back here also. There's a number of outlets that we have in the coach. I write the electrical wire run sheets for all of the coaches and edit them. I know how many outlets we do in a coach. They're extensive, and a lot of those outlets also have the USB charge ports to them as well. Kurt touched on it up there at the dash. The flat charging station we have for the phone on the left-hand driver's side, and then we also have a number of USB charge ports up there as well for different accessories. Back here coming into the rear bath, it's very spacious. The shower is also very big. I would say it's probably the largest shower that's in the industry. The one thing that we point out all the time is that shower pan where the tile is affixed to or adhesive to is a stainless steel pan. So that is a stainless steel pan that we manufacture that goes into the coach first, and then the rock board is put around it, and then the tile is done. That means that we have no way for water to ever get out of that shower. Period. You've walked into coaches, Andrew, before. I've walked into them, and you know right away when you walk in there's a water intrusion problem somewhere.
I was recently talking to an RV technician that works on a lot of different Prevosts, and he mentioned right away a different coach that they were having a problem with, and he said, hey, this doesn't have that shower enclosure like a Liberty does, and if it did, it wouldn't be having that problem. So that's not issues that you'll necessarily see right away, but when you get to be 5, 10, 20 years down the road, a lot of value in having that.
I mean, it's like we see a lot of these coaches multiple times. We talk about the advancement of technology and how do you know what is the next level or what to move to. We have to continually look at the fact that we're going to see this coach 4, 5, 6, 10 times possibly, or 25 years from now we may see that coach, and you don't want to be putting something in there that all of a sudden is going to be, oh, oops, now we're going to have to reinvent the wheel, if you will, to get that coach up and going again. Or we don't want to throw the latest gee whiz deal at it, and then a year from now we find out that A, that company's gone, and B, it's not going to function the way it was supposed to. There's a lot that goes into that, and the thought process is because of the fact that we know that we're going to see these things, and we want to make sure that they are going to be reliable for the customers down the line.
Yes, sir, and that's a question that I see in the comments section a lot. And I know you monitor the comment section I've seen you respond in different forums. You're extremely active in the community. A lot of people ask, why would someone trade in or get rid of a coach so early? And when they see the trade-in that this customers trading in, they're going to be asking, why would this person need to get something newer when the other coach is so great? What is the biggest reason that we see these late model coaches on the market?
I think it comes down to the fact that people are just wanting to freshen something up. Maybe we want to change a color. Maybe we want to do something a little bit different here and there. You know, they have the ability to do it, and they like to make that change, or their friends have changed, or what have you. The hardest thing to do is to have a client come in and say, I want to build it just like the one I've got. That customer, I remember many years ago, did that, and I just remember the expression on their face when they walked in. There was just no excitement because they just walked out of what they had, and now we have something that essentially looks the same. You know, you want to make sure that you're freshening it up and give them the excitement and the reason to do it. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to do this in the last several years, if you want to call the last 4 years, without having any inventory new. So it's come word of mouth. It's somebody seeing something else that's out there, or being able to promote it actually without having it. It's like this coach. You look at 901 just was debuted here in the last 2 days, and we've already got coaches sold out into late 2024, and people hadn't seen it yet. So
well, I think when all the Liberty Coach owners see all the new features on this, you might have a lot of orders coming in. A lot of folks at this level, you know, these are close to $3 million toys, so they, like you said, they have the means to have the best of the best. They want the best of the best and the latest and greatest. Yep. So now, talking about latest and greatest, the lighting here too is just so bright, the brightest lights of any motorhome I've been in. What is it about the Liberty Coach lighting? I mean, I bet you that camera can barely see that mirror with all the light coming back there. What is it about your lighting?
You use a coach enough and you go to different places, or you're in a hotel or you're whatever, it just seems like everything is dark. And so this is a challenge, and this is something that we worked hard on to be able to come up with a good lighting package so that you have the ability to see when you're getting ready. The ladies do, what have you. It's very important, and they're dimmable, so you can turn them down if you want. There's other options we've done with makeup mirrors back there as well. There's some different ways that things can be configured, but lighting is a key. There's no question about that. Even in the shower, the lighting that's in the shower, the lighting that's back here, you know, even behind the cabinets to be able to see things. You know, for our service guys, we have lights back there also. So there's a significant amount that we do throughout the coach.
It's sort of these backlit mirrors, that's something that's in every Liberty Coach now.
Yeah, has been for the last 2 years. You've got a really nice undermount sink here. So, you know, we've seen the vessel bowls before. The undermount seems to be coming back in a strong way. You've got some nice storage throughout on either side of the vanity, under storage as well. Of course, the rear head. And then back in here is going to be, you know, the electronics for the coach, the Wi-Fi system, the satellite receivers, everything. And as you can see, this stuff is very clean, well thought out and well installed.
Frank, it's an absolute honor to be able to take the folks on YouTube on a tour of the latest and greatest. This is the finest motor coach in the world right now, and a lot of people are wondering, you know, the price of the new Liberty coaches. This is the newer body style. What's the cost of a coach like this?
You know, it varies somewhat. It depends on slide rooms. Got 2 slide, 3 slide, 4 slide coaches. You know, the variables in there, you can pretty well say that you're going to start somewhere in the 2.5 million range, and then you're going to go up from there. We are really excited to have this coach. There's a lot of thought that went into this. My brother, obviously, you spent quite a bit of time with him. It was well into 2 years into the making, not only for our team at Liberty Coach in North Chicago, but of course Prevost and all the time and effort that they did for a number of years to get to this point. We're all really proud of everybody that was involved, and the team here in Stewart as well. There's input one way or another on different things also, so there's a big collaboration for the whole team. We're very, very proud of them.
Yes, sir. Well, we're honored to be able to share it. I know the first video we did was about 4 years ago out at Sturgis when I was out washing motorhomes. I would have never dreamed that we'd be here 4 years later, so I can't thank you enough for all of your support over the last several years. It's an absolute honor. Now, if someone is a serious and qualified buyer and they want to purchase a Liberty coach, what's the current inventory and who should they get a hold of?
Our current inventory right now is we have equipment that's in the 2016 range up into the 20. We had a 2022, we just sold it, so we've got into 2020 now. We'll have some other inventory coming in, late model, that will be changing fairly quickly because of these newer, the 9660 chassis coming off that we're finishing, so we'll have some more product come in as far as that goes. New, we discussed, we're taking orders on new right now for the end of 24 and into 25. You know, we keep moving through that as well, so we're excited about that. So the best way to keep on top of us is continually going back to the website, libertycoach.com. Also, you can email coachsales@libertycoach.com. We've touched on service a little bit as well. If you have a service question or a service issue, the best way to reach out to our team there is serviceoffice@libertycoach.com. That also includes me, so that I can stay on top of what's going on service-wise. We have the phone number also you can call in, 800-554-9877. We also don't want to forget our other company, the Motorhome Exchange, which carries equipment there that's going to be outside of 10 years Liberty Coach production, or it's going to be equipment that is non-Liberty Coach. And that has its own website, which is themotorhomeexchange.com. We've got got quite a big spread of equipment across the board year model wise as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know a lot of the coaches never really get photographed or put on the internet that come in, like the coach that was traded in for this, a very well-spec'd coach. So if someone is serious, they should definitely reach out and get that conversation going.
Sometimes we haven't been able to put the coaches on the websites because they get sold before they get here. That part's tough a little bit, but the guys are on it. I mean, as soon as we get something, they're hungry as well on the sales side, so they're pushing.
Hey, supply and demand, and when you got the best of the best, everybody wants one.
Yep,
so,
for sure.
Frank, greatly appreciate you taking the time today. Really appreciate you and the team at Liberty.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Also greatly appreciate all of you out there. We hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.
Thank you.